On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to be looking at a pedal from a guy who has been very great to our channel. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing, clicking on the notification bell so you know what we're up to. Your engagement with us helps us engage great people like DLS Effects and Dave Cicito, who's been fantastic for this show.
Yeah. One of the first guys that engaged with us when we started the first series, that Leslie Sound series. And we appreciated that. He is killing it. And has been killing it for a long time. Right. And like, all right, so we have the Ultra ChorusII from DLS Effects. We got this with the idea, hey, the next series could be a chorus series. We haven't had time to kind of put all the pieces in play to make that series start happening. And then Saturday night, we played for 2 hours and 15 minutes or something, longest set I've played in a long time. And Pat was using this pedal, and it sounded amazing.
Yes.
Like, I mean, from the other side of the stage, I think halfway through, at some point, it may have been a rehearsal or whatever, but I was like, what is he doing over there?
Because we've had it, and I finally went and I plugged it in and played it, and I dialed it in, and then we had a rehearsal, and that's the first you really heard it.
And I remember thinking, I bet he put that
right
Ultra Chorus down on his...
Because we're pretty familiar with the sounds that are going to come from either side of the stage, and every once in a while your head kind of turns like a dog or a high-pitched sound, like, wait, what's that? And
right.
It was this.
And so we're not starting the tremolo or the chorus series,
right?
Whatever one it is. We're going to dive... And so we're not going to do the whole deep dive every knob, but we're going to give you a really good idea of what this pedal sounds like. And I mean, honestly, let's just, say it out loud, right? It's a big pedal.
It is.
And it's hard to get like a lot of times today, I think people are thinking, I need to find this small pedal that fits on my pedal board. And you were like, I don't care how big it, like you said that to me. It's like, I don't care how big that pedal is. Right. It's staying down there because it sounds great. So let's start, before we get into any knobs or anything, I will say it's stereo. So the first opening clip was in stereo. One side into the Tyler, one side into the Hot Rod. We pulled out the stereo, and now we're just running it the way you ran it.
Yeah. Except
we're running it into the Tyler right now. So why don't you... I guess you'll have to do a reference tone, but then this pedal has two sides. So basically it's two chorus pedals in one. Why don't you just reference tone and then walk us through the two sounds that you used?
So the PRS Silver Sky, which is almost the same color as the pedal, through the Tyler JT22 with the DLS Effects Echo Tour, which the swirls are the exact same color as this pedal. But this is clean.
And that Echo Tour is...
I'd have an all DLS board if this was allowed to leave the house, but Dave, we might be calling you. So this is on, and this is the side I have set for a little slower. This is side A, for lack of a better term. Actually, chorus 2, I guess. But so for that one, I had the rate down a little bit slower. I bumped the depth up. I wanted it slow but really wide. So technically that's chorus 2. Chorus 1 I have set, you can see, a little faster, and it sounds like this. So one of the things I found interesting on this pedal was it has a blend knob, as a lot of pedals would, and I don't quite have it at noon. I probably played it down a little bit because it would have been all 80s all the time, and my hair would have gone to spiral perm.
I know we said we weren't going to run knobs, but can we do? Yeah. Could you just play that and let me roll that up just so we can hear?
because all I would want is more. And at some point in a band context, okay, that's enough. We have a keyboard player. But so I had the blend back down a little bit, although it sounded great the whole way up. It didn't get weird. It didn't get unusable. But this is the most interesting part of this pedal. Not the most, but one of the unique things about this pedal. It's called delay, and I had it on 6. It goes all the way up to 7. So it really it controls the spread of the chorus. Not just the depth, but the spread, how quickly, how far it expands. So 1 is shorter, and it's kind of hard to hear because it's not really a true delay.
Let's turn the blend up a little bit to make that easier too.
So here's that. So you can hear that, and it really spreads it out really wide.
And we did the extremes. We did 1 and 7, so there's everything in between too.
Because if we'd have gone 1, 2, 3, it had been living like next to train tracks, you wouldn't have noticed the difference as it went up probably. But from 1 to 7, you can hear that, and it was a great idea to bump the blend up. It's a really interesting thing, and I didn't know what it did at first. I had to break out the manual just to see, and even I think they describe it in a very basic way, so I'm not sure I under-described it per se, but it's a great thing, and I had it on the higher end to make it wide. Again, I was running mono, but it sounded great. It's so great because it covers so much territory because you can have 2 different settings.
So you basically have, if you think of a chorus pedal, depth and speed. So you basically have 2 chorus pedals, depth and speed. Then you have an overall kind of this width of your chorus and an overall blend of it. You can do stereo in, stereo out, mono in, stereo out, mono in, mono out. So you have all those options. And then I feel like Dave thinks of all these things.
Yeah, there's a few trim pots on the inside.
Yeah, so on the inside, if you manual because I'm slow. There's an input A gain, so you can bump the gain on input A. There's an input B gain, so you can bump the input on input B. Input B is linked to output B. So there's a thing in there. There's stereo people that like stereo pedals would probably understand that. I feel like a lot of us run mono, so you could check that out. Output B, volume. Output A, volume. And then region. So turn counterclockwise for more swirly chorus or clockwise for a drier chorus. So you can even kind of mess with that inside too.
And I think, isn't he kind enough to tell you what the factory settings were?
He does. He tells you how to
tweak and go, oops.
get back to factory. But I mean, the way it sounds right now, I wouldn't touch it.
Right.
He has down here some sample settings like analog chorus, wide sparkling chorus, vibrato, note bending chorus, phaser. If we do like the deep, long dive, we might go through some of those. Ultra deep chorus. It is all analog. I mean, it's an all analog chorus. I feel like we're gushing over Dave Cicito and DLS Effects, but
his tremolo is one of my favorite. It still sits on my board, and we started our tremolo series with the DS Tremodillo, and I have the DLS on my board.
DLS has been on the board for a long time,
and I'm telling you, we could put 20 Echo Tours on our board and not be happy enough. So
the Echo Tours, it's on the demo board. It's going to be the permanent demo delay because we use it all the time. Because there's no way it'd be a battle otherwise.
Right.
And then this thing sounds great. His Leslie pedal sounded great. The Rotosim. And yeah. One more thing. When you were playing Saturday night, there was a song that had this like kind of single note hook in it.
Yeah.
And I think you were using the JHS
PG-14
at the time. We pulled a Barber Electronics, go figure, meet Dave. Gain changer off the wall, which is one of Dave Barber's pedals that's like really great with Strat style guitars.
Right.
And so why don't we kick on the overdrive and give him it was one of those moments. He hit this kind of lead thing, that this hook in the song, and I was like, oh my gosh, that just sounds coming from across the stage. Amazing. So...
All right, I'm not sure we can be amazing now, but here we go.
Do you want me to turn this on?
Yeah, might as well. I think you can see why that's Alex Lifeson approved. Because Alex Lifeson has done a lot of things with Dave's pedals, and that is very Rush friendly.
It cut. What about chords with the drive?
Yeah, then you get into Bryan Adams territory.
So you have basically two, like preset chorus, two different chorus pedals packed into one. And I think if you go to his website, if you go to DLS website, there's a chorus pedal that's just one.
Right.
Like a little smaller, like the size of the tremolo pedal. Mm-hmm. That's just one of these. But this... I asked Pat
why not?
I asked Pat which one we should get in. Bigger is better. So.
Right. More is mo better.
So, I think that's
just
Is that it?
Yeah, it's another amazing offering by Dave at DLS. It's fantastic, and we can't say enough good things about him. Not just because he's helped us out, but when we get his pedals in, there's always something unique about it. The way the tremolo was set up with a tap tempo, and it had 2 outs and 2 separate sides, kind of too, and it's just all these options in these pedals.
So we're saying, we get a lot of pedals in.
Mm-hmm.
Few go to boards. Fewer stay there. And
it's great.
I mean, we're gushing, but it's not like Dave sent us we bought this one. He sent us the Echo Tour, and we were like, well, if we're sending us something, we want a chorus pedal too.
Right.
I think he gave us a little bit of a discount, full disclosure, but we bought this one.
Yeah.
He's not paying us to say nice things about his pedals. He doesn't have to pay us to say nice things about his pedals. It's great.
Yeah, and on the situation I have now, I'm not terribly concerned about real estate in the situation there in our church building, and so I don't care that I have a chorus pedal that's twice the size, because honestly, I'm going to use it in 2 different ways. So works for me.
Like having 2 chorus pedals.
It really is, and I'm looking forward to exploring it even more.
All right. So that's our first look at this. I think we're thinking we can't understand why we don't see on those big pedal board builds that you see on Instagram and stuff, why we don't see more DLS Effects pedals.
Right.
And so here's the word, check this stuff out.
Right.
So
I don't think we have the soul power to single-handedly change that, but we're definitely on board.
That camp.
Yeah, it's great.
Is that it?
That's it. I'm a sucker for chorus, and it's finally acceptable. It's acceptable that it's come back. I mean, I started playing guitar in 1982. What do you want from me? Like, I had a Strat on 2 and a chorus pedal. I mean,
it was glory days for chorus down there on Saturday night.
Trying to get the mullet back.
That's awesome. With that, we always say thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting the subscribe button, clicking the notification bell, like Pat said in the beginning. Anytime you interact with the show, it really helps us out, helps us to make these connections with people that are making awesome stuff, and we appreciate that. And check out the website. All the series are there. There's no chorus series there, but that might change in the future. So with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.
Dave's.
Yes.